Hello, good morning. Well, it's 2:30 on Christmas morning here. I will start off in a positive frame of mind. Here in the Philippines, of course, behind you, a lot of celebration, a lot of organizing, cooking, setting up little dishes. I made potato salad and coleslaw, and many dishes, seafood, spaghetti, lots of little dishes that I can't remember the names of, but anyway, and creme de la fruta, which is like a trifle. All prepared, beautifully laid out on the table, all ready for the photo shoot and the giving of gifts. You know how Filipinos love money? Well, not really. It's a case of that's what the girls wanted. So I gave them a little gift. And I've just done that now. Was it 2:30? And a big smile on their face, which was well worth it. Not the amount of money; it's the response from doing it. And everywhere around in the Philippines, most places have some form of celebration. It involves food. It involves family. It also involves a certain amount of how would you put it? Christmas cheer and religious significance. It's celebrated here on the 24th at midnight on the 24th, a bit like a double New Year's Eve. And when you consider all of the effort that goes into it, along with all the money that creates all of the food and the spread, you have to imagine that most people would be certainly pushing the boat out money-wise, and it's a big expense for many families. So depending on what kind of family you're with or you mix with, will determine the kind of spread. And when you're a foreigner, of course, there's a tendency to want to create a massive spread. It's almost like the feeding of the 5,000, I feel. And, this starts at early morning with going to the market, picking up the produce, coming back annoyed that you might have missed something, having to go back and get more. It's all part and parcel of that hustle and bustle, like you find everywhere in the world, especially over in the West, where last minute shopping is just pandemonium. To a degree, it's a little bit like that here, but in a more laid back way. Certainly, there's a hustle and bustle, everybody's trying to get the last minute things. Even when I went in just to buy a few items in the local supermarket that opened up a few months ago, half the stock has disappeared from the shelf, and the staff can't or aren't being asked to fill it back up again straight away. So they're all busy packing and looking after the checkouts, which is a mile long waiting to go through. But as things progress towards midnight, there's a tendency to go and have a shower, put the clothes on, ready for the photo shoot, hence the pictures behind me. But of course, not all are experiencing that. Certainly not my family anyway. Sorry, not allowed to call them my family anymore. But for me, I didn't see the point of taking part in this customary photo shoot where you smile for 2 seconds and you give the impression that everybody is one big happy family, when in actual fact it's a completely destroyed family as a result of one very selfish individual. No, I'm not going to say who, but the point is that that is what happens when a breakup happens in a family. I know of 3 people specifically that I've had contact with that are going through the same empty feeling. The feeling, I suppose, of sadness, but also Well, I think you probably would say pissed off that things have ended up the way they have. Many of you, of course, have found yourself digging in deep for these families, only to have them see the bigger picture without you there. They don't want to be somebody's nurse. They don't want to do all the things that their parents did, which was to honour, love, and care for. They'd rather have the good life, the fast cars, the nice house, plenty of food on the table. But of course, that comes, as we all know, from hard work. And in our case, certainly has been a lot of hard work taking place this week. What with all the cakes that have been made, with all of the ingredients purchased. But of course, how does it get purchased? It gets borrowed. And does it get paid back? Usually not. Because most of you must realize when you come to the Philippines, somebody says to you, "Can I borrow?" It actually means, "Can you give?" And it means that you will never see that money again. Very unlikely anyway. And if it is, it will be paid back in a drip feed system, where in actual fact it has no purpose anymore. You might have earmarked that money for something yourself, only to discover that you've had to lend it out, only to wait for maybe months to get it back, if at all. So always be aware that if you intend to give somebody something, that's what it is. It's a gift. It's not a loan. It's not, "Can I borrow?" Because that doesn't exist in their vocabulary. Even if they have a credit card, they don't seem to want to pay it back. And of course, who cares? No one's going to come chasing them. It's unsecured. And after all, they haven't quite worked out what credit cards are for. They know they give them money and they can buy things with it. But if they have a foreigner, of course, he can help pay the debt off. And what happens next? They cut them up in front of you. But then 2 or 3 months down the track, they've gone and applied for another one. So really, have you really achieved anything? Not really. Finance and money here in the Philippines is something that they just can't get their head around. They think it grows on trees somehow. I think they've been spending too much time in the provinces. Mind you, I haven't seen any peso trees except foreigners. But anyway, jokes aside, for many of you who are spending Christmas alone, my thoughts do go out to you all, and I hope that you find something that will at least take away the loneliness and the sadness that is inevitably going to affect you. I'm hoping that maybe if you're an alcoholic, you can drink your way through Christmas. But try and keep out of trouble. The other one, of course, is New Year's Eve coming up. Again, it's going to be one of those things. We've been invited over effectively for a meal tomorrow. That's today. But again, I don't see really any point of being a hypocrite and going round as if we're all one big happy family. So it's something, if you want to destroy a family, you have to wear it, you have to own it. And that's something Filipinos don't like doing. They don't like to admit that they've done something wrong. They don't like to admit that maybe if their mum and dads were alive, they wouldn't have done it. So on a negative but a very positive note, I hope everybody has a very nice Christmas day, and we'll no doubt come up with something to talk about later on today when I've discovered it. But I've discovered my friend Peter up the road has not been abandoned, but his wife has gone to visit family down in in Manila, and he's on his own. So it's a coffee night, a coffee morning for us, and that will be pleasant, something to look forward to. So all the best. Oh, look at this. 20 to 3, and the cock-a-doodle-doos are at it already. That's the Philippines province for you. You have a great day. Bye now.